You gonna work from here? You gonna do it from here? Or are you going up there?
I'm testing this microphone.
I did them early, but that's good.
Oh, okay.
To double check me because sometimes I.
Oh, no. I just want to make sure.
They post they just make sure you're running volume time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm about ready to kick
Okay.
off. Good morning. James, we didn't check this. James Efforts will lead us in the national anthem.
Please join.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. Jason Rudd, Register Education.
Dear Lord, we love you. We thank you for our day. We thank you for everything that you've given us. We ask for great help for each and every Rotarian here, the friends that are visiting today. We thank you for our school system and our speaker today. Thank you for the food. And we ask that you bless our bodies and our bodies thus. In Jesus' name, amen.
Family Rotary, talk to us on Terry Dutton.
Thank you very much, President. Hope everybody's having a great Monday. This is short and sweet. Mr. Tom Sorrell, we're going to celebrate a birthday on August the 2nd. And Wes Grant, you feeling older? Always. August the 3rd. And one anniversary, Daryl Roberts and Jacqueline on July 29th. Hope you all have a great week. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Mr. Scott Jones.
All right. Happy to welcome our guests and visitor Rotarians today. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing for all visitors are recognized. We got Tara Grant, guest of Wes Grant. We got Lee Jacobs and Patrick Mallory, guest of Stephanie Walker. Okay. Anybody we missed? All right. Thank you for visiting us today.
Mr. Josh Long.
133. You did.
How much? We have 133 points. Thank you, Wes. Our winning ticket today, last four digits, 1645. 1645. All right. There you go.
Oh,
Jack Clemens. Thank you, Josh. Like for Walter Hill to come forward, Bridge House.
Just want to invite everybody to come back here Friday morning at 8:30. It's our Marcus Conway Pacer kickoff. We'll be announcing our goal. Our campaign chair this year is Ross Benura. Some of y'all know Ross from Enterprise. We also have Troy Fountain, fellow Rotarian. He'll be there to announce the challenge pledge from the Wiregrass Foundation. We'll see our new video produced locally by Josh Steltenpole and Marketing Services. Of course, announce our goal for this year's campaign. And then for Rotarian David Hanks and the Wiregrass Area Food Bank, we will be packaging meals that will feed 50,000 people. And if we have enough help, we'll do it like the last 7 years. We'll do it in 1 hour. So you are invited to join us Friday morning here at 8:30.
Also, last week, I know that Troy came forward and asked volunteers to help with the project he was working on. Facebook program. We had 2 volunteers come forward, Brad Parrish and Mark Christensen. Thank y'all so much. And look, I personally appreciate that. That's what this is all about. We're a service organization. Everybody here has a lot of talent. And we can serve a lot of different various ways, and that's what we're here for. Just want to say thank you for that. I also want to recognize those of us who play soccer. Our Dothan Dragons finished their season last night. Lost Vermont, but for the second year, that was a spectacular program. Anybody that knows Steve Donner, and anybody associated with the program, please reach out and acknowledge how much we appreciate you. Also, I want to take a moment cover our Rotary Minute for the week. And today is Club Banners. Y'all, did you know we had a club banner? This is our club banner. It has the Dothan Rotary Club, Alabama, USA, District 688 on the top, with the American flag, and of course, Peanut. As you recall, a few weeks ago, we had Noah McNeil came forward and brought us a flag from the club he visited in Italy. When we make visits, or anybody wants to take a flag with them to a visit to another Rotary club, we do have these available, and we do exchange these flags. One of Rotary's most vibrant traditions is the exchange of club banners. These decorative banners, often displayed at meetings and district fairs, are carried by Rotarians traveling abroad to exchange with other clubs. Typically, the banners feature symbols or artistic elements that represent the club's town, region, or national culture, including handcrafted touches like embroidery, weaving, or paintings. Many of these banners are considered artworks in their own right. The tradition grew so popular that in 1959, the Rotary International Board of Directors advised clubs to exercise moderation, fearing that the exchanges could become financially burdensome. Despite this, the tradition continues today as a meaningful expression of goodwill and international friendship among Rotary members. The Rotary Archives now holds about 20,000 banners, each one reflecting the club's local pride and strong global ties to the Rotary organization. This exchange practice remains a cherished symbol of unity and mutual respect. Thank y'all so much for everyone. All you do and represent our club. I'd like to turn our program over now. Mr. Wes Grant, to bring us the program. Thank you, Wes.
Thanks, Allie. You did a wonderful job. When I originally talked to Ryan about coming to speak, I told him to come on August the 11th, but he got booted by Tommy Turtle, so he had to come a little bit earlier. And also, today's the first day for students. This is extremely busy, I mean, for teachers, so I'm extremely excited about him being here today. As someone who taught at the Career Tech Center for 25 years, he knows I'm very biased toward Career Tech. So Ryan is the Career Technical Education Director of Dothan Schools. He has served in the leadership role at Dothan Tech since 2021. During his tenure, he focused on growing and improving CTE programs. As a result, enrollment is at its highest level in recent history of programs experiencing unprecedented success. A native Dothan, a graduate of Dothan High School, Mr. Richards holds a Bachelor of Science degree from Troy University, a master's degree from the University of Alabama, and a master's degree in instructional leadership from the University of West. He began his professional career in enterprise before returning home in 2011 to teach honors and AP chemistry, and he actually taught my daughter at Oakview High School. In January 2017, he became the Director of Workforce Development for Southeast Alabama Works. He worked to connect industry and education across 10 counties, helping to recruit, retain, and train the regional workers. Mr. Richards is also a former member of the Rotary Outlaw Club, where he has acted for 2 years and remains a strong supporter of the Rotary mission. He is married to Suzanne and math coach for Dothan City Schools, and together have 2 children, Carolina. Mr. Richards has a passion for helping students achieve their goals in life and develop practical skills that serve them well beyond high school. He is committed to empowering the next generation with the tools, knowledge, and competence they need to succeed in a rapidly changing world. Look forward to hearing what you got to say.
Mr. Allen, also thank you for allowing me today. It is an honor and privilege to speak to you guys today. Before we begin, I want to thank you for the people that are here. Ms. Lee Jacobs, who's our interim superintendent, thank you for being here. Ms. Stephanie Walker, who's our CSFO, Mr. Patrick Mallory, who's our COO, Mr. Scott Childers, who's our board chairman. There's a lot going on in Dothan City Schools. And what Wes asked me to do was share with you guys some of the great things that are going on. And I have the fortunate opportunity to speak to you about career tech and workforce development and what we're trying to provide for the students that are coming through our programs and our building every day. As he kind of mentioned my background, I'm born and raised in Dothan. My parents worked for the city of Dothan for their entire career, and they've now retired. So I was born here, I was raised here, I graduated from Dothan High. I plan on being here for forever. And so I am trying to lead my community better than when I arrived. And I have a lot of mentors in this town. I have a lot of mentors in this community. And so whatever I can do to continue to build this next generation truly is my mission through this. Turn it on.
Down, turn it on.
That would help. All right. So out of curiosity, how many of you in this room ever took a class in what would be considered career tech or vocational education? Back it was called several years. Anybody in here ever take those classes? Okay. So we're trying to change the narrative. You know, for too long it was you got to have a 4-year degree to do anything. You got to go to college. You got to spend all this money. You got to get into debt. And what we're trying to show our students is there is an alternative path of learning skills, learning trades, having the knowledge the day you leave our walls, you can go out if that's what you choose to do and make an impact in the job market, in the economy. Something I tell our group of our students every time we talk, a sheet of paper is nice and a diploma is wonderful. But my job, our job is to try to prepare you that at whatever point you want, that you're earning a W-2 or 1099. Now, when I ask them that question, I say, how many of you know what that is? I get a lot of blank stares. Not many of them understand what I'm talking about. And so those are the things we're trying to teach our students is that the job, at whatever point you exit your educational pathway, we want you to have the skills and the knowledge to be successful in whatever course and whatever pathway you choose. So some of the things that career tech is important, let me share those things. So we have higher graduation rates. Students that typically enter career tech programs graduate at a higher rate than their counterparts that never join our programs. We have kids that walk through our doors every day that the only reason they're in school is because of their welding program or their graphic arts program or their JRTC program. And so we add the value to them to get up, to get on the bus, or get in the vehicle with their parent and come to school. And if that's the only reason they're there, then it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we're giving them everything we can so they're learning every single day how they can be better.
We're also trying to train them in-demand soft skills. You know, we hear often, kids just need to know how to show up on time, be ready to work, put their cell phone away, take their earbuds out. You know, we battle the same thing in the classroom. And so it's our mission to try to treat these kids on how to look you in the eye, how to shake your hand, speak clearly, and have a passion for what they're talking about. And if we can do those things, then they're going to be a much better employee at any point they decide to get in the workforce. We also try to do hands-on learning. I mean, how many of you like to go into conferences or workshops and you just sit and listen? And all you do is have to hear. Well, all of our programs are predicated on you get out of the classroom, you get out of your seat, and you work with your hands. You try to learn a skill, you try to learn a craft, and that's what we're trying to do every single day with our kids. Exposure to the job market, what careers are available and how much education is needed. And I'll get a little bit more to that as I go through the presentation about some of the things we're actively doing to provide those experiences for our kids. And then last but not least, develop problem solving, project completion, research math, and all of those tangible skills that sometimes you don't get in a science class. I've taught honors and AD chemistry for 7 years. And so sometimes you don't really get into what those things look like, but that's what our Career Tech programs do every day for our students. Our current team, as West End, I'm the Career Tech Director. We currently have 2 Career Tech counselors. I still have not processed yet. Ms. Peluso is retiring in the middle of this year. I'm still grieving that call. But she's been with us for 8 or 9 years, and she's been wonderful and a rock star. And Ms. Tyson has just joined our team. We also have 2 individuals, Mr. Hall and Ms. Knight, who are dedicated career coaches. All they do is work with students on preparing them for their life after high school. Whether it's applying for college applications, or applying for scholarships, filling out FAFSA, taking them on industry tours, taking them on college visits. Their job is to truly try to provide experiences for our kids so they know what is available to them outside of the school, outside of Dothan, and well beyond across the world. That's their job. And then the boss of the room, Ms. Morrison, who is our bookkeeper, who keeps all of us straight as well. So just to give you kind of a high level thing, there's a lot on this slide, but I do to share with you how expansive our offerings are. We have 18 different Career Tech programs. And that may sound like a small number, but when you get to really thinking about it, comparing what we offer to the schools around us in the state, we far exceed anybody around us. So just to kind of go through a high level, we have agri-science. We have a dual enrollment program with dual enrollment automotive program in partnership with Wallace College, a dual enrollment aviation program in partnership with Enterprise State. We have culinary, which Ms. Tar was previously the instructor of. And then we have education and training. We have graphic arts, and those are all the instructors there as well. And Wes, if I get you this presentation, can this be shared with the group? So if there's anybody who wants to reach out to, okay, perfect. We have biomedical science and health science. Let me give you kind of a high level of what that means. Health science is what I would consider patient forward. If you're someone going into that field, you're going to be the hands-on LPN, RN, nurse practitioner, someone who's really going to work with the patients themselves. And then biomedical science is research forward. There's an issue, what type of research or medicine or actions can we take to try to prevent, heal, or cure whatever that issue is. So that's kind of the difference between those 2 things. We have a business program. We have a computer technician that's dual enrollment as well. We have a construction, which is primarily residential. We have cosmetology. We just started a dual enrollment HVAC program as well last school year, and that's continuing to grow. We have a pre-engineering program, television production, film production, and then we also have welding. So when I tell you there is something for every single student that walks through our doors, it's limitless. And let's say that you get in a program and it's not really what you want to do. It's different than what you thought. We've got something else for you. You know, we always tell the adage, if you think you want to be a nurse or you think you want to be a doctor, and you're not sure if you like blood or not the first time you see it, you pass out, probably not a good thing for you to go into healthcare, right? Or if you think you want to be a welder and the first time you get in there, you strike a torch and you're scared, right? Welding's probably not for you. So for a student to be able to find out early in their life, without any cost, without any extra time or effort, let's learn that now before you commit your life to moving forward. So again, it's a way that we can really, truly get exposed to kids at an earlier age. So a little bit of a high-level number. So again, I've said we've got 18 programs. Last school year, from 9 through 12, we had 1,781 kids who were enrolled in a Career Tech program. That's 84% of the kids who were in 9th or 12th grade took a Career Tech class. 84%. So students and families are seeing value in the programs that we have. They're seeing value in what the skills they're learning. So the day they graduate, they can hopefully take their skills with them. Beyond that, we have something that every program has, and I'll show you a slide in a second. Every one of our programs offers some sort of nationally recognized or industry recognized credential for certification. So when you leave, if you walk into an interview and you're interviewing someone that is in a specific career path, you can say, I have this credential, I have this certification that you would value, that you know that they could come into your business immediately and have less barriers of training that they can get to work immediately. So last school year, we had 837 students earn one of those industry recognized credentials, and it's the most we've ever had. It's a record for us. Job Shadow Day, I'll get into that in just a second. We had 87 participants. And then how many of you know what co-op is? Okay, it's where a kid can leave school early to go out and actually have an active job and work in the community. We had 78 students active in co-op last year. So instead of sitting in an elective class they didn't need, or PE or something like that, they were going to work and earning money for them and their families. So that's another program I'm super proud of. So this just kind of gives you an idea, and I know it's really small, and I apologize, but it's the best I can fit on there. As of last week, I did current enrollment of all of our programs. And as of last week, we had 989 students actively enrolled in the programs on just our career tech campus. So we're almost at 1,000. Before school starts, with the way schedules move around, we'll probably be at 1,000 kids in our 18 programs before school starts, which is incredible. And again, you're talking about a little over 1,500 kids in the high school. So it's a great percentage of students who are enrolled in all of our programs. And some of the higher numbers that you see, like health science and graphic arts, we have 2 teachers. So we're allowed to have a little bit more capacity into those programs. Where like welding, you may not have as many because of safety concerns, right? You have 1 instructor, there's fire and flame, so we want to make sure that we have safety within our structure as well. So, some credentials. And those of you that are in the industry, some of you may recognize some of these credentials, and you may not. And if you don't, I'll be glad to tell you what they are, what they mean, and how they potentially impact your business. So with ag, we have some ag construction and welding, we have something called NCCER, and that's honestly basic safety, learning how to use power tools, how to use them properly, rigging, harnessing, all of those things. So we've also started partnering with Wallace Community College for Skills for Success, and they're doing skid steer, excavator, and bulldozer training in all 3 of those programs, and we're going to continue to grow that as well. Automotive is ASC, our biomedical and health sciences are doing patient care tech and pharmacy tech certifications. Culinary, we do Skills for Success, food and beverage, and also ServSafe. Our education and training is doing Google Educator, which is what a lot of school systems use. And then our graphic arts is the Adobe Creative Cloud, if you're familiar with InDesign and Photoshop and all of those types of products. Continuing on with business, you see those. Construction, same thing. Health science, again, we also have added a vet tech. So if any of you know students who are interested in vet sciences, we have added that to our program as well. Our HVAC does an an EPA certification. We do Autodesk and AutoCAD and engineering. And then TV production also does Premiere Pro, which is a video filming. So the goal was for all of our students, when they leave, they have a tangible certification and credential that, again, is valued by industry that will set them apart from whoever they're in competition with for those jobs in that specific industry. I know this is really small as well, but I want to point out something on the far right-hand side. Each year, we try to track our credentials. And in the summary tab on the right, you can see what our credentials have grown to over the past 6 years. In 2020, which again got cut short, we had 3 certifications. 6 years later, we're almost at 800 certifications. So again, the fact is we have more kids seeing value in what we're doing, value in what we're offering, and we're trying to expand those year over year. So in 6 years, we've given out over 1,700 credentials and certifications that will hopefully impact these students as they move into their career class. A little bit more on co-op. So again, we had 78 students last year with 59 employers, work over 33,000 hours and earn over $350,000. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of these kids that are in this program have some financial barriers. And in some cases, this is an extra paycheck that puts food on their table, that gets them transportation, that allows them to buy supplies and clothing. It's not just they're going to the mall money, going to the movies money. It's not their fun. These are dollars that truly make a difference in their family. And so for us to have that opportunity for these kids to, again, not sit in some class they don't need, but to go out and make a benefit for themselves and their family, it's a true impact of what this program can offer for our kids. Do any of you have or any children or relatives that are currently in a public school in the state of Alabama? If you do, you need to pay attention to this slide right here. Currently, this upcoming graduating class now has to have what we call a CCR to walk across that stage. In Dothan City Schools, there are 7 different ways they can earn a college and career readiness indicator. 7. And if they don't have one of these, state says you can't graduate. So it has become a very pressing matter for us to ensure that we know that the students know what their options are and what their opportunities are. So there's a test called Word Keys that basically just makes sure that they know they're ready for the workplace. That kind of gives you the ideas of what you got to have there. Probably everybody in this room has taken the ACT. You probably don't ever want to take it again, right? But that's one of the ways that you can earn a CCR. Now, with the ACT, I will point out sometimes it's a little confusing. You don't have to earn all of those scores, just one of them. So if you hit an 18 on English, you got what you need, or any of the others. It's not all of them, if that makes sense. We offer AP, advanced placement programs. If you join the military, if you take a college class and earn the credit, and then there's 2 ways in career tech that you can also earn those credentials. So if you have a relative or know someone that has a student in public schools, that may be something to ask them about today. Hey, do you know about the CCR thing, and has this student earned it yet? Because if not, they need to be making sure they're working towards it. So every time I talk to a group of people, I want to make sure that you all are aware of this new standard. Just a little bit of data. So, and again, I know there's a lot of data here that I'm going to point out. So in the last 3 years, the overall percentage went from 65% to 73%, and this most recent graduating class that walked across the stage this past May was at almost 84%. So our goal is obviously to get to 100% this upcoming school year. And so we're working towards those, and we've had about 2 years of lead time to make sure that we're documenting and we're ensuring that our students have the opportunity to do it. And the other thing I'll point out is there were 88 students last school year that the only way they would have graduated were requirement was because of career tech, because they earned a credential or they became a completer with us. So again, they're seeing the value in what we're doing in career tech programs. Something else. Anybody ever heard of a CTSO or a career tech student organization? You may not have heard of this, but have you heard of Honor Society, SGA, Key Club, all of those things, Rotaract? These are programs, CTSOs are specific for career tech. Wes was an advisor for Skills USA, went all over the state, won state awards, won national awards. Tara was with FCCLA. These are things that allow our students to go and compete. We actually had, and I got a picture right here, we had 2 young men who won state championships in their respective programs. The tall kid on the middle left, that's Charles. He won technical drafting. It was an AutoCAD design. He was a state champion. And then Robert, the young man in the middle right, he was graphic design. He had to come up with an entire marketing campaign for a golf company. And he won the state championship in that program. So, and then the young ladies on the bottom picture, those are our health science students who went to national competition in Nashville this summer. The 2 gentlemen went to Atlanta. In fact, Robert came in 4th place. He was a few points away from winning bronze medal in the national competition. And he's beating himself up because he forgot to add one part of the requirements. And because he missed that one part, they docked him points. Otherwise, he probably would have won silver basically. So we hate it for him, but it's a lesson learned, right? I mean, he goes and he has to experience that to know that making sure he's following all the requirements of what's asked of him. So again, it's a way for our students to get outside of the law, get to know the kids around the state and the country just like them, and compete and show off what they know. A few of the things I want to point out is our Job Shadow Day. In 2022, we were actually awarded, after the first year we ever did this, Governor Ivey's Work-Based Learning Seal of Excellence, where they saw the value in what we did. So we had, and every time I meet with the kids, I ask them this question: how many of you know right now what you want to do if you graduate today? There are very few hands go up, right? How many of you kind of have an idea? A few more hands go up. And then I say, how many of you have no clue? The whole room shoots up. And there's a lot of us in the room, we still don't have an idea what we want to do to grow up. But again, the point is to get them to think about that. And so we've had companies who take our students and they take a half-day experience and they get out in the real world. They get away from school, they get away from their friends and teachers, and they just listen and they learn and they ask questions to find out what does it take to get into this industry? What are some of the educational needs? What are some of the degrees that I have to know? Like, what are those things? How I can enjoy this career? Those are just some of the companies that we've had participate all 3 years. And here are some of the experiences that our kids have been able to go out and be a part of. And the one I always point out here is the mortician. Believe it or not, the last 3 years we've had kids who want to go visit a funeral home. Well, it's an industry that will never die, literally. Right? It's always going to be there. But again, we want to expose them to what they have passion for. So if any of you in the room have an interest in hosting some of our students in whatever industry you're in, we would love to have you as a participant in Job Shadow Day. A little bit of the numbers. So over the last 4 years, we've had 325 kids leave our campus and have their lives changed. And one of the cool things about this, at the very end of the day, they come back to campus. And we sit in a room like this, and they all stand up and tell their stories. What did you learn? What did you see? What did you experience? And I always tell them, any experience is a good experience. We've had some say, I now know I don't want to do that. And I said, and that was a great experience for you because you now can focus on something else. So anytime that they can get out and see and get exposed to the real world, they're learning something. And that's what it's all about. So again, these 325 kids now have had their lives changed because of this. And I know at least 3 students who have gotten jobs and are currently working in those jobs because of Job Shadow. And so again, it's a big thing that we're trying to help improve. So that was our group from last year, and then that was our group from 23 and 24. So again, it's just an incredible experience for these kids to get out and go see. They've got a dress professional, they got an act professional, and we're trying to train them of what it's like to be in those industries. Here's a few pictures. The top left one is a young man who was with the Dothan Fire Department. He never said a word in the 3 years I knew him, but he got out there and worked with the firemen like it was the best thing he'd ever done. Like, he absolutely enjoyed it. So we've had veterinarians, ag, manufacturing, healthcare. I got to admit, the top 2, most of you probably know Art Morris, right? So I called Art one day. I said, I got a kid who wants to be an air traffic controller. I said, I know you're going to say no, but I told him to get on call. What is the chances of him getting in the tower at the Dothan Airport? He said, no, there's no way. But you know what? I'll do you a favor. I'll call and ask. He called me back about 20 minutes later. He said, you're not going to believe this. They said, yes. So Nathaniel got to go out and spend a half day in the air traffic control tower out at Dothan Airport. There's probably none of us in this room that have ever been up in that. But that young man who joined the Air Force came back and said, I'm still joining the Air Force, but this is way more than I thought it was. And so he learned that day that maybe this is the experience. And I joked with him, I said, you realize this is Dothan, not Atlanta, right? So like just the idea of it, he got to see all of those things, really, really cool. Again, health science, we've had students scrubbing for surgeries. Mr. Childress has hosted 2 kids learning how to build houses. The nuclear plant, CAE, engineering, the aviation out at the Dothan Airport. Qualico Steel has hosted some students. There's just been all kinds of experiences that our kids have gotten these really cool surgeries and really cool experiences. The bottom right there, that is Sunset Memorial Bird Funeral Home. They've hosted the kids out there that wanted to be in those fields. Law offices. Cal, matter of fact, you're in the picture. I didn't even know if you knew that. So I threw him in there. So it's been really, really great things for our kids just to get out and do those things. Something else we've done the last 3 years is something called First Responder Training. This is a partnership we came up with the Wiregrass Public Safety Center, DPD, and the fire department. If a student is ever in a situation where their life is in danger, how do you save your life and those around you? And then if and when someone is injured, how do you save their life after the threat has been neutralized? So this is a training we take out there with our health science students and anyone who wants to participate. And we take them through an active shooter training situation. And then what do you do after the fact? And so it's a real world life-opening or eye-opening experience for these kids that are wanting to kind of get into that industry to see what it's like. And trust me, it's a really intense 2 days, but it's well worth the experience they get to go through. These are just pictures from the last 2 years. They bring in SWAT and they clear the scene. So it's training for DPD, just like it is for our kids being in the specific situations. I also want to mention our partnership with Southeast Health and how great they are. They provided funding, resources, materials, and equipment the past several years for our health science and biomedical science to continue to grow and add. Due to their resources, we've been able to purchase a sim mannequin. It's about $30,000 that actively speaks and talks and is controlled by the instructor. You can change heart sound, stomach sound, lung sound that you just can't reproduce in a clinical setting, but you can in a simulation. And so that's something that our students are getting to participate in and learn to diagnose those things simply by standing in a classroom. And it's controlled on an iPad, but they're hearing those things and it becomes real to them. So that's been something that we sincerely appreciate Southeast Health in their efforts to continue to help us. So the last little bit, I just want to show you, sometimes it's hard for you to get out and see our program, but when you put your eyes on it, you realize what we have to offer to our kids. And I do want to thank the board and Dr. Coe, who was willing to invest in our programs. We just did a $7.5 million renovation about 2 to 3 years ago. So all of our facilities were modernized and brought up to 21st level. And so it's been really cool to kind of see what we have to offer our kids that not a lot of programs can do. So we've got a graphic arts design studio. We also have a production shop that's still up and coming, and we're adding a lot more to it this year. This is our biomedical science program. Again, it's more lab heavy. They're doing dissection almost every single week. So if you want to come dissect an eyeball or a heart or a brain, come join us. We'll be glad to have you on there to do that with us. We have a 3-room health science suite. So this is the classroom, and then you can kind of see the lab. And the way the lab is set up, it's kind of, again, it's simulated workplace. So you go in, you check in, you go through triage, and then you get admitted to the hospital. And it's really trying to work that simulation of what it would like to be in an active hospital setting. Again, the same thing in health science lab number 2. This is our full suite of the culinary kitchen. It's growing, it's expanding, we're adding more to it, and it really is a full-on suite of learning how to do mass prep kitchen work. This is our welding shop. Any of you are welcome to come join us in there. It is hot, it is sweaty, but they beat, bang, grind, and weld every single day. And Mr. Kingery is the instructor, and he does an incredible job in that program. We also want to thank Qualico for the partnership that we have growing with them. They've invested in us, so we're investing in them. We've got kids out there doing internship this summer. We had a kid do a co-op experience with them last year. So that's something we're going to continue to value as we move forward in our programs. Education and training, well, we're preparing our next generation. We want these students, when they leave us, to come back one day. And I got to give props to Miss Paula Snyder. She's about this tall and as small as she can be. But what she does every Tuesday and Thursday, starting in the fall and in the spring, she puts her kids on the bus and she hits every single elementary school 2 days a week for 2 weeks. What better way to become a teacher than to get in there and be with a teacher? And so these kids are getting active engagement and learning. So she went and got her CDO license. She can take these kids and take them to tours all over the city. She goes to daycare, she goes to early head start. She does a lot of things with our students for this program. We added HVAC, like I said, last year, so that shop has been combined with aviation, and we do those programs in there. We have an agri-science program, which is primarily greenhouse focused, it's plant focused. They've got a greenhouse and they have an outdoor garden, which Mr. Killingsworth does a good job of growing things all the time. So if you ever want something, let us know. We'll put it in the garden for you and grow it. We've also got our engineering program. He just got a mill. I don't know if y'all know what a mill is, but he's teaching his kids AutoCAD to cut metal. He can cut wood. He's got 10 3D printers. So he's really growing his program and how to use different materials to create and design for engineering solutions. We've also got building construction, which is primarily residential. He does primarily carpentry work. He does a little HVAC, a little plumbing, a little electrical. He does it all. Mr. Griggs does a great job of that program. And again, we've got dual enrollment automotive, cosmetology salon where they cut hair, and then spa where they're learning to do nails and pedicures and facials and esthetician process. We've got TV film production as well. The gentleman we just hired is an absolute rock star. He actually came from Hollywood. So like he has a legitimate set of credentials. He's been in a movie with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock. He's been in the show Blue Bloods with Mark Wahlberg. Like he's the real deal. He's been a great hire for us. And then we also have a career center that's dedicated to our career coaches as well. Last few things. Something I want to point out, if y'all haven't heard about this is the Focus Act. This is going to change the dynamics of the school system forever. Starting this year, students are not allowed to have holes on their person. They have to be in a locker, a book bag, or in their cell, or in their vehicle. So there's a large learning curve coming, and it's not Dothan City, it's not Houston County, it's the state of Alabama. And so we are all truly working to try to make this go as smooth as possible. Policies are only as good as implementation, and a lot of students are not happy, a lot of parents are not happy, a lot of educators are thrilled, but it's going to change the dynamics of education. We'll see how it works out. I'll get back to you in the coming weeks. And the last thing I'll say is we need you guys to get involved, because we're only as good as you are to help us. A lot of educators will tell you this, but in my opinion, you're my customer. It's not the students, it's not the parents. Because like I told you in the beginning, my job is to prepare them to leave us, and you are the consumers of my product. If we're not producing a quality product, you're not going to buy it. You're not going to hire it. So if we're not building the best product possible, then we're not doing our job. So you, as the business and industry economic engine of our community, you're my customer. And I want to hear what we're doing right and where are areas that we can improve. So please get involved in a few ways you can do that. Come be guest speakers. They're tired of hearing it from us. We need people from the industry to come talk to them. Allow our kids to come on campus and do internships, short-term, long-term, paid, unpaid, whatever your decision, you decide. Mentorships. Just get in there and just talk with the kids because they need to hear from you guys. And then last but not least, I've already talked about Job Shadow Day. We'd love to have you participate in that as well. And then also program advisory committees. Our programs have to have people from industry. Tell us what we need to be doing better. And that's where you guys can play a role in that as a part of our program advisory committees as well. And then don't forget to vote. I know there's a lot going on in our community right now, and there's a lot of board seats that are up for election, same thing with city commission. But just get out and do your civic duty and vote. That's all we can ask you to do for our school system. And then last but not least, how many of you have seen the articles in the Dothan magazine? If you get the Dothan magazine, every month there's one on Dothan Tech specifically. And I appreciate that Melanie Hill started that a while back, and so it's continued. So she's rolled off, but we find a lot of value in people coming up and telling us that they've read our story. So again, I encourage you to read those stories whenever you see. Again, follow us on social media. And if we got any time, I don't know how it is, I'll be glad to take any questions from the floor. Yes, sir.
How are you funding?
Great question. So we have what I would consider three major pots of money. We get federal funding, which is called Perkins, and that's allocated directly from the federal government. And then we have state funds, which come from, it's a source called O&M, and then there's some general funds, and we have something called maintenance of effort. So it's just dollars that we get from the state based on certain formulas, if you will. And then we have some local funding that we can bring in from our CTSOs, our programs, because there's different ways that we have funding to be able to purchase new equipment, go to professional development, travel for teachers that are doing school-related things, and to send students on trips. So there's different funding mechanisms. Yes, sir.
Bell program, is it mandate from the feds or a state program?
The new cell phone?
Or just common sense?
Representative Lee, I'm gonna pass that to you. That really came out of the legislative action, the focus on. And I think that was a big push from Governor Ivey that was really, she was hearing it from the school system leadership of it has become a problem. And the best way to do it is instead of each school doing it by themselves, it's a way to, hey, we're all gonna get on the same train, and we're all gonna do it together.
I know New York did that.
Yes, sir.
Announced today. I was wondering.
And I'm sure a lot of states are probably, because I think California did it not too long ago, and I'm not sure of all the states, but I think it's becoming. Yeah. Believe that one. Yes, sir.
All that stuff we saw, is that in the old Sears building?
No, sir, that's a good question. So in the old Sears building is the Career Tech Center for Houston County Schools. So that's Ashford, Houston County High School, Cottonwood, Rehoboth, and Wicksburg. Those 5 schools go to that center. We are located behind the new Dothan High School or the old Northview High School. So if you pull in, you go all the way around back, we are behind the high school. You never even know you were there. We're there unless you go back. But that's where we're located. And it's just Dothan City Schools in our school. Well, I will say this, let me add this, and this is something going on. We actually, last year, the year before, I can't remember exactly the year, but we actually started a partnership with Headland High School, and they are now able to send their students to our campus through dual enrollment programs only. So instead of them having to go to the Wallace campus or them start their own, we had room. And we said, y'all are willing to come. And so they send a couple of students every block to our dual enrollment program. So those are the only non-open seats for students that come to campus. Yes, sir.
On a typical day, students, how many hours are in the tech, how many in, like, having history and geography or English?
It's a great question. So the way our bell schedule works, we're almost called 4 by 4 day. So we have 4 blocks in the fall, August to December, and then a brand new set of classes from January to May. So in the 4 in the fall is however your schedule works, depending on what classes you want to take. But of the 8 classes, 4 of them have to be 1 math, 1 science, 1 English, and 1 history. Those are your 4 core. The 4 electives you get to choose, whether it's in fine arts, in band, in choir, or career tech. So we're fortunate that if a student chooses our programs, if the schedule allows, they're with us all year. They have 1 class in the fall and another class in the spring. So unlike a math class, we get them from August to May as long as their schedule allows. And we have 90-minute blocks. So when they come to us, they're there for 90 minutes. Any other questions?
So Ron,
Yes, sir.
whenever you're passionate about something, as obvious you are, there's also reasons that drive you to that passion. And oftentimes it's this kid. Here's an example of what I do every day. This kid, you don't have to name names, but this kid is an example of what makes it work.
So I'll
you
answer
have
that.
that story.
I'll answer that in 2 ways. I'll answer first personally, and second with a young man. My dad worked for the city of Dothan in water and wastewater for 30 years. And I would go out to the plant with him sometimes. I'm like, Dad, how do you work it? Like, it smells awful. And if any of you ever been to a wastewater plant, it doesn't smell good. But his response was always, it smells like money. And he grew up, started out 16 years old, cutting grass in the Dothan Cemetery. Then went to the drafting room. And a position opened up at a mussy treatment plant and went out there as an 18-year-old and worked his entire career. And he always told me, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And that's what I'm trying to get these students to see, is that if you wake up and you have a passion for something, you'll never work a day in your life. You have a career, and you get to do those things that you'll enjoy doing. And so he always taught me at a young age that hard work was the most important thing you'll do. And being able to pour back into this next generation and teach them that is worth more than anything. So it's trying to pass on the lineage of what I was. Now, the young man, I'll give you his name. His name is James. He was in our engineering program. Sorry, you may remember it. We'll talk about it later. But in the high school, when he was in his math, science, and English, he gave them fits. He was in ISS all the time. He even went to alternative school. But when he was with us, he was in heaven. He only wanted to come to school because of our engineering program. Well, turns out the year we were doing construction, we had to move some things around. And our welding program got put next to engineering. Well, they all just kind of started working as one big program, if you will. So they had some things that they were working on. Somebody had a trailer that needed to be rewired. So they pulled it to the shop and got to working on it. And it was in the welding thing. Well, James came over and got to talking to Mr. Kinger. He was like, hey, can you teach me to weld? And Mr. Kinger, sure, man. So James started coming before school, and Mr. Kinger started working with him, teaching him from the basic stuff. Seniors typically get out before most students because their year ends early. He kept coming every single day just to weld all day long. When that young man graduated, we got him an internship with Martin Environmental and started welding on dumpsters for Jim Martin. We got him in school at Wallace, finished his 2-year associate. He's now at Austin, making almost triple digits an hour because of what he learned in our welding program, and he wasn't even enrolled. So even though we have kids that aren't even our programs, we have teachers investing in those kids, changing their lives every day. And that's just one example. Thank you for that question. Any other questions?
Well, thank you. I personally appreciate all the things that were made to the children, the students, but really good. Mr. Club would like to present you with a Rotary mug. Well, let's see you again soon. I always play, Brian. Thank you. Well, speaking of programs, just for your information, I know a lot of people ask, you're here and there, we'll see you out about it. Who we got coming up? We'll speaker list, trying to make this a little bit more accessible for you. I know we can get to it on the site, especially, but actually put the upcoming list for about 4 weeks is between the badge boxes. So if you have a question on who's coming up, it should be right there. So hope that'll be of some benefit. If not, so let's go and try something else. Next week's program will be brought to us by Brad Parrish. It'll be Troy University Athletic Director Brent Jones. Always a good program. Brent's been with us before. And I'd like to thank all the guests who are here today. I'd like to see you again. Come visit us. And all those who helped with the program today, Wes, Scott, James, Cal, Jason, Terry, Chris, everyone who helped with the program today. If you will, let's stand and repeat the 4-way test of the thing. Think, say, and do. Look forward to seeing everyone again next month. Ready, freedom, sir.